Welcome to the Writing Alignment PLC 2019-2020 Narrative Writing Resources Sharing Session. First off, I would just like to introduce our PLC members whose dedication to our PLC was amazing this year. So speaking to you now is Courtney McDonald. We also had on our team Stephanie Ives, who will be sharing later, Jessica Ross, who will also be sharing later, Shauna George, Mac Francis, Helena Olson, Tatum Schneider, and Virginia Muro. Our goal was to create tangible prompts and products, so we wanted to have actual assignments to match writing outcomes in grades 3 to 9 when we first met in September. We wanted to provide ideas and structure so Pebble voice and choice was still present, and we planned to attach already made rubrics for assessment. This was our goal because we wanted to make sure that we had alignment between classrooms in our division. What we actually achieved was creating those tangible prompts and products, including lesson plans, activities, and assessments to match writing outcomes in grades 1 to 12 that provide ideas and structure so Pebble voice and choice is present. And we attached SunWest rubrics. So to access the resource itself, you go to resourcebank.ca and type in narrative writing resource into the search. And the first resource that appears is the resource that our PLC created. So I'm just going to jump to that internet to show you that. So you'll see that I'm just on resourcebank.ca. And if you go into the what are you looking for box and type in narrative writing resource and hit search, our resource is the first one here. So narrative writing lessons and resources. And then if you go to view resource, you'll see that we have included all the resources that we've created for narrative writing grades 1 all the way down to grade 12. I'm just going to take a moment or two to review the narrative writing 1 to 4 resources, and then Stephanie will share our 5 to 7 resources, and Jessica will share our 8 to 11 resources, and I'll finish off by sharing the grade 12 resource. So for each resource, we just provided a brief description. So if you clicked on here and you were wondering what the lesson might be about, it would be easy for you to figure out if this is something that would be helpful for you. And we're hoping that it will be. So for the grade 1, it says that this lesson walks you through the steps for writing a 6-sentence narrative. It focuses on writing about a specific special moment in time based on an emotion and can be used for multi-grades by varying the content length according to the SAS curriculum. It also is cross-curricular as it can be linked to health. The lesson includes numerous videos on each step of the writing process, including brainstorming, planning, writing, revising and editing, and finally publishing the polished writing piece. This resource also includes Blackline Masters, links to mentor texts, and the SunWest developed writing rubric. You'll notice that for the narrative writing 2 resource, it is a very similar description, and because this topic and narrative writing flows through both curriculums, it is applicable as well to grade 2 narrative writing. So it's been tweaked slightly for grade 2, and it includes the grade 2 rubric. However, it's very similar concepts that you would be teaching. Probably really helpful also if you were teaching a multi-grade classroom. The grade 3 narrative writing resource shares the literary genre of the Pourquoi tale with students. Using sample Pourquoi tales, students learn the elements required for these legend narratives and then write collaboratively to compose a class narrative, including the elements. Students then take part in you-do writing by completing their own independent Pourquoi tales. The grade 4 narrative lesson focuses on writing a personal narrative. Again, that takes into consideration a specific special moment in time as linked to the SAS curriculum. The lesson includes numerous videos showing the writing process, brainstorming, planning, writing, revising, and editing, as well as publishing the polished product. This resource includes Blackline Masters, links to mentor texts, and the Sunwest developed writing rubric.
When we get to grade 5 narrative writing, this particular lesson would cover approximately 7 class periods worth of instruction, activities, and assessments. The resource provides video segments as motivational sets for each part of the narrative writing process, integrating viewing, as well as graphic organizers and handouts for student use. The Sunwest 4-point rubric has also been included for assessment purposes, and this ready-to-use resource can easily be incorporated into any grade 5 ELA program.
Thanks, Stephanie. We're just going to share you this zip file as one example. So as you can see here in the narrative writing zip file, you'll notice that there's the lesson plan, but there's also several other sheets that teachers can use or tweak to fit their class as best as they need it to. So if we open up the lesson plan, we'll notice that we do see the transfer of responsibility outlined at the top and what stages in this lesson and process of narrative writing each falls into, as well as our outcomes and I can statements, the assessment plan, the videos that Steph mentioned on motivational sets, and then the instructional strategies are broken down into 7 class periods that can be tweaked based on your students, of course, and the before, during, after for your lesson is in there as well. Finally, it looks at opportunities for personalization, so considering Pebble, what resources and materials you will need, and this lesson includes all the 7 C's and elements of reorder. So this was just one example that we wanted to show you. All of the lessons and resources in our narrative writing resource follow that same structure.
All right, moving from grade 5 into grade 6. Grade 6 narrative writing is focused on retelling an event or incident with detail. Specific resources that are included in this set are a suggested lesson plan similar to one that Courtney showed for grade 5, a handout of features of narrative writing, which can be used for pre-teaching, reteaching, summarizing the different features that are needed, a pre-writing brainstorming organizer, a proofreading and feedback checklist, and links to the outcome-based rubrics and exemplars from the STF. The components can be adapted and used in different ways depending on the needs of your specific students and groups, whether for a whole class or for smaller groups within that. The grade 7 narrative writing lesson is about imaginative narrative writing. So first, by using a common fictional story, students will see how narrative writing fits into this genre. Then, through a collaborative snowball story creation activity, students will become equipped with the draft ideas for their writing pieces.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the grades 8 through 11 pieces of narrative writing that we've got here. For the grade 8 narrative writing, students will discuss and review different technologies from different time periods. Students will choose one piece of technology to research and then write a narrative from the point of view of their researched technology. So this fits into the grade 8 outcome where it's narrate a historical narrative. And this one has a motivational set that includes looking at different pieces of technology throughout history, kind of a little bit of a fun activity for them to do, choosing one, researching it in the computer lab, and then writing a narrative piece that goes along with it. It's one that would likely take several days to complete. For the grade 9 narrative writing, this one goes with a specific short story called On the Sidewalk Bleeding. Students will read through the story and then they will write a journal entry from the point of view of one of the characters. So this fits into the All That I Am, the Search for Self unit for grade 9, and it is a personal essay. For the grade 10 narrative writing, this one would fit into the ELA B10 Equity and Ethics unit. The lessons are used with the novel The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. After reading 5 chapters, students will choose a character to write a journal entry and will proceed to use the information from the novel to create their work. Each lesson is accompanied with guiding questions to help those students who may be struggling with what to write about. And then for the grade 11 narrative writing, this would fit into the Beginning and Becoming unit in ELA 20. And it uses a memoir or an essay of reflection, kind of a personal essay. So students will read a memoir called Brothers, as well as discuss experiences that have helped to shape different people. And there's a list in there of different maybe celebrities that students might know and different experiences of what they've gone through in their past and how it's helped to shape them. And then students will then write their own memoir in order to, or based on an experience that has changed them from their own childhood.
Thanks, Jessica. And the final narrative writing that we have here is for grade 12. So this lesson is connected to ELA B30 and suggests that students use a question for deeper understanding as a narrative writing prompt. Students learn about satire, parody, and irony, and then write using one of these literary terms. An editable graphic organizer has been included, as well as the SunWest 4-point rubric. So that is a resource that our PLC created this year. We want to thank you for your time, and we hope that all ELA teachers can find this resource helpful to their teaching.